Hello and welcome to the West Coast Today podcast with me, Sandy Neal.
Me, Matt Young.
Me, Kathy Griffith.
Me, Owen Wild.
And me, Fiona Scott.
In this podcast, we let you know about some of our stories making the headlines this week online at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk and in the printed editions of this week's Oban Times and also the Lochaber Times. We love hearing your stories, so why not drop us an email at editor@obantimes.co.uk or through our socials. Or you can give us a call on 01631 568 000. First up today is our newest podcaster, reporter Matt Young, fresh from Glasgow and finding his feet up and out west. Matt, what's happening on our West Coast patch?
Thank you, Sandy. In this week's Lochaber Times, residents of Skye Village are unhappy with plans to build a new distillery building. The consultation stage for the new Talisker site has now ended, with over 50 letters objecting to the plans. And staying further north, read about how a family are planning to take on Mount Everest Base Camp after their holidaying adventures near Fort William. And finally, back in Oban, charity champion Marie Harrowa has been taking part in the Edinburgh Kilt Walk for the Guide Dogs Association.
Thank you for that roundup, Matt. Staying in the Oban Times, Kathy, what's the crack?
Assistance dog Rocky has become Oban's latest social media star as well-wishing fans track his recovery from a life-changing hip injury. Joy turned to agony when the much-loved German Shepherd was tearing across Ganavan Beach, only to pull up sharp with a horrific limp that ended with an emergency dash to the vets and a diagnosis of hip dysplasia and a dislocated thigh. So he needs surgery, he needs 2 new hips. It's going to come to about £19,000. His family are obviously chipping in from their own savings and trying to find funds from various charities, but they're hoping that well-wishers from the area will be able to help them get to that total and get Rocky back on his feet. So you can read all about that in the OT and online. Pipers greeted one of the world's most majestic cruise ships to Oban at the weekend when the Cunard's Queen Mary II, or is it Queen Mary II? Anyway, a big ship with lots of passengers, about 3,000 of them, docked in Oban, and lots of little tenders were ferrying passengers to the shore. And the good news is it looks as though they spent lots of money in our businesses because they were spotted heading back to their ship with lots of heavy shopping bags. So great news for our businesses and trade in the town. Oban's Men's Shed needs numbers to progress their last shot accommodation talks with Argyll and Bute Council. The group's John McAllister is appealing for men, women and under 18s who are accompanied by responsible adults to turn up at an emergency meeting on October the 9th. That's going to be in Sadie Hall in Stevenson Street from 7:30 to add your names to a list of people supporting that the wonderful group can continue and find premises in our town. And if you're hungry for all things foodie and all things drinky, Sandy, this might be one for you, then this is one for you all. Oban serves up its 3rd Argyll Food Festival at the Corran Halls this weekend, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m, Saturday and Sunday. Yum.
Thank you very much, Kathy. And just on the subject of drinkies, I have got my cup of coffee, which I am not going to slurp on air. You'll be glad to hear. Owen, you've been listening in to some important meetings at Argyll and Bute Council HQ in Kilmorey Castle.
Yes, I have, Sandy. Thank you very much. Argyll and Bute's Health and Social Care Partnership have reached a decision on the controversial care ceiling policy, deciding to approve the plans. After a month-long consultation, officers thought best to extend the threshold from 28 hours up from 25. Members of the HSCP's Integration Joint Board were split on the issue, recognising the positives and benefits of the plans. Read what they had to say in this week's paper, with more available online at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk. The First Minister has refused to open up the Islands Act to all islands after being pressured at First Minister's questions last week, and upgrades for the A85 have been confirmed. Finally from me, the Great Oban RAF race was this weekend, and what an event it was. The McQueen brothers and Oban Rotary did such a good job organising it in just 1 month, and the teams did so well to get their rafts in order and looking great. Only one of them sunk. Find a photo spread in this week's paper, or watch the highlights online at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk.
Thank you very much, Owen. More from this week's Oban Times. Daisy Williams from Mull is walking 280 miles this Blood Cancer Awareness Month in memory of her friend and neighbour Alice Walters. Daisy chose that distance because it was how far Alice had to travel between Finnefort and Glasgow to receive her cancer treatment. And to tell us more about this week's Lochaber Times, here's Fiona Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Sandy. Well, it's been an incredibly sad week in Fort William and the surrounding area, with the community coming together to support the families and friends of Fort William teenagers Lewis Knox, Jordan Cameron and Fergus Ward. 3 friends lost their lives in a crash on the A830 between Mallig and Arisaig on Thursday, August 28th. Funeral services were held for all 3 this week. No words can do justice to a tragedy like this, but hopefully the families will be able to take some comfort from how much the boys were clearly respected and loved. They will never be forgotten. You can catch up on all this week's news and sport on the Lochaber Times website at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk.
Thank you very much, Fee. And thank you, everybody, for listening this week. So it's bye from me, Sandy Neal.
Bye from me, Matt Young.
Bye from me, Kathy Griffiths.
Bye from me, Owen Wild.
And bye from me, Fiona Scott.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, hey.